Hey, founders. Hope you guys are doing good. Listen, last week you all came through for me. I posted a video about looking for a video editor, and I'm so thankful for the number of people that reached out to me. Had some great conversations. Wanted to let all of you know that I'm still evaluating my options at this time. But thank you so much for coming through for me and the fact that you were able to help me find some qualified folks that can work with me as I continue to grow the channel. Today, we're going to talk about the idea of how pitch decks might be different at various funding stages. When I work with clients, I tell them that the pitch deck I'm preparing for them should be more of a template than anything. When you're working with investors, you want to present them a pitch deck that is more customized to them. If you have a meeting with an investor coming up, you should be researching them and their company, the type of startups that they like to invest in, the amount of money they like to invest, and all these types of other factors. When you know those kinds of things, you can customize the pitch deck so that it is more appeasing or appealing to those investors. The same thing is true when you're looking at using a pitch deck at various stages of funding. Now, just to clarify, funding does happen in phases. Usually the very first round of funding that is done by someone who is not a founder or from family is called your seed round. That would just be the seed money that helps your startup grow. Maybe your first outside investor. After that, they tend to call the next round a Series A, and then we see Series B, Series D, Series E, Series F, Series G even sometimes. And so a lot of these startups raise multiple rounds of funding as they accomplish different milestones and as they are needing more and more money to drive toward, in a lot of cases, an initial public offering or IPO. So when you have a pitch deck, don't think of your pitch deck as a singular pitch deck. It should be a template that you use to customize to the investors that you talk to. And just as importantly, you should build that pitch deck based on the round of funding that you're at. If you're at the pre-revenue stage of a startup, meaning you're not currently making any revenue or making very little, then the way you design your pitch deck should focus on things like milestones and talking about the things that you have accomplished already that are different than revenue. Maybe you focus on users. Maybe you focus on your prototype. When you get to the Series A round, maybe your pitch deck should start to swing and talk a bit more about landing your first customer, your first $100,000 in revenue, those types of things. And as you get to subsequent levels or rounds of funding, your pitch deck should evolve with that. I don't just mean that you should be updating the material that goes on it, maybe changing the financial projections or something like that. I mean that you should be customizing your pitch deck based on the funding stages that you are at. That means you need to know what investors are looking for at those various stages of funding. When we're getting closer to when we're getting closer to, I can't even say it, this is really bad. When we're getting closer to an IPO, you should be focusing more on revenue and money that you're making and other growth opportunities that the startup has. When it's early on, you should be focusing on the milestones and the team that you're building, because those are the things that investors are looking for at those various stages. So don't just think that building a pitch deck is a one-time event. It creates a template for you that you customize over and over again based on the audience and the phase of funding that you're at. Until next time, hope that helps. Hope you find your voice.